A podcast full of mayhem awaits with Stav, Abby and Matt. And it's mayhem at Chemist Warehouse. Stock up and save now with the Chemist Warehouse half-price cosmetics sale. Stav, Abby and Matt.
Brisbane wakes up with Stav, Abby and Matt on B105.
Hey everybody, thank you for downloading today's podcast.
We appreciate you.
Yes, we sure do.
Asking celebrities for selfies. Can you refuse after the West Tigers awkwardly did in a video that's gone viral? The ironic thing is that the fan didn't actually post the rejection. Another player did.
Yeah.
So do you reckon the captain who refused is like, oh, thanks, man?
Well, you know, never good things come out of footballers posting things to their Instagram stories, so I just don't know why they have not learnt that.
Well, because they're trying to do, footy training as opposed to, all right, so let's do some social media etiquette.
Yeah. Oh, they would have to have done that sort of
let's
training.
not take photos in hotel rooms. Oh, actually, let's also talk about not getting invites and going back to strangers' hotel rooms.
And don't snort things in those rooms either.
Hard rules to live by.
They are. But anyway, yeah, it's a strange video, is what I will say. But we talk about that.
And we also want to know if you guys have ever been suspected of a crime.
Yeah, that was quite surprising, wasn't it? Hey? I mean, the one thing I did note, I'm not sure if you guys heard the same thing, we asked for people who had been suspects but didn't commit the crimes. Only women.
Oh, yeah.
All the men are like, oh, why don't they leave out the other bit that, like, we were charged?
Can we call for I was a suspect and guilty? All right, let's get into it. Here's the podcast.
You cringe for the person asking because it's at a Brisbane airport, I think we decided that it was, but West Tigers, they were flying home from, we would say, a big loss. A huge loss.
Oh, it wasn't that big. It was only 64-0.
Sure. So obviously a bit devastating for them, but they're at the airport and a fan, it looks like a rugby league fan because he's got a clipboard and he asks them for a selfie and some of the players say yes and a couple of them refuse and it's so embarrassing because the way they refuse is just ignore. One of them is on, looks like a FaceTime. So it's been divided because people are like, yeah, he's allowed to refuse a selfie because he's talking to his family.
It's Jerome Luai.
Right.
Yeah.
But he's the captain.
Captain, yeah, he came from Penrith.
But at the same time, he's still eating. I get it. But I just feel at that point, if you have fans asking for a photo, I feel like you should always say yes.
I saw that video on TikTok.
I feel sorry for the person asking.
And I don't usually comment on videos, but this one I did comment.
What'd you comment?
I commented, it takes 5 seconds to smile and shake someone's hand. You boys would be carpooling home if it wasn't for him rather than catching a plane. Which is the truth. You know, I get it, you know, you're not necessarily working at that moment, but that guy seemed like he was being polite and he was excited. He knew stats on some of the players. One of the guys, he said to them he loved him at the Roosters and now he plays for Tigers. He was just a fan. He is the reason that those guys are getting paid into the millions of dollars, and if without those people,
I agree because I think
exist.
it's really hard to ask for a selfie.
He was
You know
excited.
that I sent you to go and ask when we wanted a photo with Julia Gillard because I get too embarrassed because I'm so prepared for the rejection and how that makes you feel. Because you
I'm
just
used
feel
to that.
you just feel so bad, like I shouldn't have asked or sorry. And I just think about little kids that are going up for photos and I just think if you're in that space where you're a sports star and people want your photo, if anyone does, I mean, I would, I find it embarrassing.
It
that
does
someone said
depend
no.
how you ask. If you go and go, can I have a photo? I think you definitely go, hey, I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it would be really nice if I could get a photo, please.
And the only other one I would, because I do it any time, but there are places like if you're at hospital, and that does happen, but you don't know why the person is at hospital. It could be bad news. They could be visiting a dying relative. It's probably best not. Like,
I honestly think it takes more time to say no and explain that rather than just get a photo.
But I'm
For
saying
me.
I don't think people should approach someone in a hospital to do that. It's not a proper place to get a
Yeah,
selfie.
I just had a baby and someone asked for a photo and I said, yeah, but can you make sure that you Photoshop it a little bit better so I look a little bit more glamorous? Is that all right?
To be fair, I wanted to live stream the birth to get our Facebook numbers up.
Perfect. And I appreciate that. No, but it is really quite divided because some people are, I guess, supporting the Tigers and saying grown adults asking players for selfies when they're on their own time is just cringe. You're at the airport, though. Other people have said, this is more a lack of basic manners and poor club and fan relations.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, imagine though those
Even
boys.
just looking and saying, I'm really sorry, no.
Yeah.
They didn't.
But they don't have to do. They just say yes. There was a point in their career where they weren't playing in the NRL and no one knew who they are, and this is what they dreamed of. Like, imagine the day people walk past them and have no idea who they are, and they're not getting paid $900,000, $1.1 million a year. Like, just smile.
I remember
the fans are their customers.
Remember when it wasn't photos, it was always signatures?
Yeah.
And I remember my mum, when we were lining up with our little autograph book to get some of the tennis players after. And, when you go up, and I guess that's where my rejection comes from, because we've been waiting such a long time, and we asked these players for a signature, and they said no. And then they stood around speaking to their manager for a while.
Ouch.
My mum yelled at them and we walked off. I was like, Mum, you just swore at them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, how old were you?
Oh, my brother would have been probably around about 10. So I would have been, 5.
Kids, yeah. And that would have
Yeah.
taken 2 seconds.
Yeah.
2 seconds. What are your thoughts on it, though? 13, 10, 60. Have you ever been rejected
From a selfie.
by a celebrity? Julia Gillard said yes to us. The lady who was eating dinner at another table said to us, leave her alone. And we're like, this is not your time to shine, Karen. Julia wants a photo with us.
She did.
If someone wants
She
a photo
did. She said yes.
with a
She said
politician,
yes.
she said yes.
said
You don't
yes.
think you think people should be able to say no?
I 100% know that people are allowed to say no.
No. I said, do you think if they're in that public world, they're completely able to?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you don't think the boys were rude?
No, I thought they were rude, and I think there is a way to do it, but you are completely within your rights to say no, not today. There's a few celebrities that don't do it. I think Louis C.K. says no, but I'll stay here and have a chat with you for 5 minutes.
No, thanks. I'll just take a selfie.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
What about little kids, though?
Well, that's why he does it, because he's like,
Yeah.
he might not even know who I am. He just wants to go, look who I met. But if I stay and chat.
What about if a little kid came up at the airport? Is it different because they're an adult? Like, what about if
Yeah.
a little kid came up and said, can I have a photo?
Yeah, you'd have to say yes to a kid. But I've seen that happen too, when they say no. Well, it just depends on the person,
Yeah,
doesn't
it does.
Who was it I saw? Latrell Mitchell. I saw a video of him and I thought it was actually really good. He was at an event and a lot of people were running up to him, adults and children,
Yeah.
and they were saying, Latrell, can I have a photo? And it was like your mum. He would say, please?
Yeah.
And they'd go, oh, yes, please.
please.
Anyone who didn't say please, he said to them, please. And he took like 700 photos.
Yeah.
But it was a really interesting video to watch because it made me think it's so true. If you go up and you just say, hey, could I please have a photo with you?
Yeah.
It's a bit kinder than give me a photo.
Yeah.
The expectations there.
You're not entitled to have it.
No.
They're not entitled to give it, but politeness should be the key.
Just so you know, I love it. If you ever want a photo with me,
I will say yes wherever we
really
want.
boosts my ego.
Yeah, we grab phones and take photos, and they're like, "Who are you?"
you?
And we're like, you're welcome."
even if your kids don't know who we are, just come and tell them to get it anyway, just to make our day.
Do people ask for you for a photo with your blonde wig, and you're like, "Stay here. I'm just going to go home and get it."
Quite often they go, are you the 9-year-old kid? Yeah, I'll have a photo with you. 13 10 60. Have you been rejected by a celebrity?
Stav, Abby and Matt for breakfast. B105.
Fans are a little bit divided about this. The West Tigers have a couple of them. A lot of them did get selfies, but a couple of them refused selfies at Brisbane Airport last weekend on their way home from the Magic Round. And yeah, people are like, well, wait a minute, you can't do that. You can't
Oh, so that was
refuse-
after Magic Round.
after Magic
not
Round.
the weekend just gone.
No, so maybe that's why they had a bad game. So how they go Magic Round?
I can't even remember. But they didn't get flogged 64-0, that's for sure.
So you're saying they should have been in a happier mood?
Yes, they should have been. I thought they were just cracking the sads
But people are
because
divided because they're like, well, wait a minute. If you're a fan
They
of
won. They
the
beat the
game
Dragons.
and you're supporting them,
Yeah.
surely you should be able to get a photo. Other
Yeah.
than people are like, nah, that was their downtime. You shouldn't be asking. I mean, the thing is, they travel a lot. They could have been at the lounge.
Maybe that's why they were salty. I think that guy, I saw the video, he had a clipboard.
'Cause it was Magic Round. He was getting photos with them all.
Well, I think he was getting signatures and stuff. So he was obviously like an NRL tragic,
Yeah.
right? He took it pretty well, but it did make you feel bad for him that they were being quite rude.
To be rejected is really harsh. We want to know if you asked a selfie from a celebrity and you were like, rejected.
Jake in Marsden, who rejected you?
Mike Whitney. He's a cricket player. He was who dares win.
Yeah.
The bloke who harassed
so-
everyone in shopping centres for a living.
Yeah, same
Rejected
guy.
you.
Same guy. Hey?
He rejected,
He rejected you.
Wow.
Yeah, he rejected me. I was like 8 or 10 years old, and he was in like Manly, in the middle of like the CBD. There's like these big steps, and I was doing a who dares win thing, and like they wasn't actually shooting, but he was sort of on his phone, so like I sort of stood next to him a bit, and then when he turned around, I was like, "Hey, Mike," and he just like sort of brushed me off to it, and he literally said, "Piss off."
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I swear to God, no one believes me either. They're like, "Oh, whatever, Jake," but
I
swear
believe
to
you,
God,
Jake.
it happened.
I believe you.
His
Thank
whole
you,
life
Stav.
he's been waiting to share this.
Wow.
Oh, I share it with everyone, but no one believes me. They all think I'm lying, but I don't
No.
lie.
Mate, he would froth for a selfie now.
Well, that was a big show. Remember, they were the bee's knees.
Yeah, they only stopped because of insurance.
Yeah. We spoke to him actually
did.
about 6 months ago or 12 months ago, didn't he? And he was lovely then. So
Tell me to piss off too, Jack. Makes me feel better. Deb, in Spring Mountain, have you been rejected by a celebrity for a selfie?
Partly yes, partly no. My kids were with their dad in Byron Bay and they went into a sushi shop and Chris Hemsworth was in there with his family.
Uh-oh.
They waited until, so the kids were so excited, but they waited until they saw them finish their meal and their dad went up and said, "Oh, excuse me, Chris, would we be able to get a photo?" And Chris said, "If it's for you, no. If it's for your kids, yes."
Ah, there you go. That's fair enough.
So they got the selfie?
They got the selfie, but my husband wasn't allowed to be in the photo. It was just the kids.
Well, that goes back to our rule. You can't say no to the kids.
Yeah,
Especially if you
right.
play a superhero.
You should have seen my face. You know how much I love Chris Hemsworth. My whole face
Yeah,
the whole
you
time.
just-
I was
yeah.
like, please don't, please don't.
Yeah. No,
See,
there is like if the
that's
people
cute.
that play Superman and stuff. It comes like you have to be that person.
Of course.
out on the
It's
streets
Thor,
with
man.
the kids. Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Well, if you see Chris Hemsworth out, see if you can borrow someone's kids to get your photo. So your husband wasn't allowed to be in the photo with the kids either?
No, it was just Chris and the 3 kids.
Oh, wow.
That's kind of cute.
I know how it feels. Amanda in Capalaba, when have you been rejected by a celebrity for a selfie?
I was at the Gold Coast airport a few years ago and I saw Jason Momoa and I went up to him with my son to ask for a selfie. He was with his family and about 4 security guards. And I went up and I said, "Excuse me, can I have a photo?" And he turned away and his security team stood up and came to me and said, "This is really inappropriate. He's with his family."
Oh.
And I apologized. I was like, I'm so sorry. I felt really bad. And he got on the same flight with us and he ended up sitting separate from his family. So his whole family sat separately and he went to another part of the plane.
Yeah.
At that point, I was like, well, now I don't feel so bad.
It's like we always knew Aquaman sucks.
Yeah,
how's
100%.
that?
Yeah.
That's,
Yeah.
You should have said, I'm with my family too. So if he wants a selfie, I'm okay with
yeah,
it.
Yeah.
you're right. It's inappropriate. I'm with my family. Never mind.
Stav, Abby, and Matt for breakfast. B105.
Made a new friend.
Oh, congratulations. Is he a fellow netball dad?
No, he's not, but it is child-related. Rory's got a new friend, so we get new parent friends.
Yes.
That's a roll of the dice sometimes, but these guys...
It really is, isn't it?
It really is. But these guys are cool. Already been to the bowler with them a couple of times. Dave the dad is just a storytelling machine. And every story gets wilder and wilder. And you're just like, what? And then I heard from his daughter, because he has he's got a, I don't know if it's a glass eye, but he's got his eye is all discoloured. And I was like, what's the deal with your eye? And the story was crazy. It's a story for another day. It's too long.
Oh.
But it's the best story you'll ever hear. But then his daughter told Rory that he tells a different story every time he tells a story of
Do
what
you
happened
think
to
any
his
of them
eye.
are true or he believes it?
No, I think
for
it's
the
just
eye is
for
true.
the eye. I think
Okay.
he just gets asked so much, that
Yeah.
he's just like, what's that scar? Shark attack?
Yeah.
Better than that, obviously.
So you're about to tell us one of his stories that is true.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. As far as I am aware. But I saw her at the bowler just chatting. I don't know how it came up, but we were talking about doing tip runs.
Go to the dump.
Going to the dump.
Oh, just men making new friends.
Yep.
Do you like the dump? I like the dump. Let's be friends.
That was it. Yep.
Cool.
But we were reminiscing, and you might be a bit too young. We were reminiscing about the days where you could actually go to the tip and rifle through it.
Yeah, I actually remember that. And your dad used to be there and you used to try and see if you could find any amazing items.
Yeah.
There's always a bike.
Yeah, and you would find stuff because people throw all sorts
Wasn't
of
there
stuff
like a
away.
big crusher? Like, what were we doing? Just
Nah,
walking
they
around.
used to. They used to like bulldoze it into a thing. Normally they burn it back in those days, but yeah, it was dangerous.
Listen
but
to
it
that,
was-
kids. That's what we used to do for funs on weekends.
Yeah.
We used to go to the dump,
Yeah.
go through rubbish.
Make
Stop
sure-
whinging about your lack of V-Bucks.
I actually feel sorry for him. It was a great time. It was a great time. And he was saying
They don't know the thrill of almost getting
Tetanus.
getting a needle.
Yeah, they don't.
Crackhead's needle in your foot.
Yeah, with
You
cotton
know?
wool.
That was before that.
Because now you go to the tip and you just throw it into a ditch, and then they come along and
Yeah.
scoop it up. It's nowhere near as much fun unless you got like terracotta pots or something that smash real good. But he was saying that this was in the 90s, and him and his mate were up in Toowoomba, and because it was the 90s, they went out to roam the streets, and they were wearing like all black and Metallica T-shirts and stuff, and they had long hair, and they went to the tip, and they were rummaging through the tip looking for stuff, I don't know, to build bongs with. I don't know what they were doing, but and then they went home, and they turned on the news, and on the news was a news report saying a dead body has been found at Toowoomba tip today, and then they said, and two suspicious-looking people were seen rummaging around the area.
Did they show a photo of them?
No.
just reports.
Yeah, but it was them.
No CCTV back in those
then.
days either.
Yeah.
I love how they presumed it was them, and there weren't any other two suspicious people that were there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess
So they
because
were
someone
wanted
would have
by
asked.
the police.
And did they go to the police and be like, "Hey, just let you know"?
No, because they didn't do anything. That's
I-
what we said. Did you go to the police? No, we didn't go to the police.
Because I always think with
Still on the
CCTV footage today, and you know how they're like, we want to speak to this person. Are they the people that are always guilty, or it could be other witnesses? Do you know when
they
always
might have more information. Yeah, you were in the vicinity and seen something.
They're always I reckon
They're
the
always the
cops
one.
always know that it's them,
But they can't
said
say.
we want to talk to them to see if they have any information. But it's if they
The
say
information of did you do it?
Well, it always.
if they say here's the people we know did it, you better turn up at the cop shop. Of course, they're going to run the other
I don't
way.
think they can anyway. For legalities, they wouldn't be able to say this is the person.
For me, it was when I think it was Henley. We were talking to him for the podcast.
A teacher's pet.
Yeah. Or no, it was the how to make a murderer guys, because they said something that stuck with me where they said just because you don't commit a crime doesn't mean you will never be charged with a crime, because until they figure out that it wasn't you.
Oh yeah.
So you can
But I
be,
always think
be a
this day and
suspect in it.
age, wrongly accused, surely that doesn't happen as much when you've got DNA testing, when you've got CCTV footage.
No, you
And you've got all these people that are great detectives just in the background wanting to solve the crime for you.
Yes, if you talk to most people in prison, they say they shouldn't be there.
Oh, I guess, yeah, good point. I think there's a lot of unsolved crimes. There's a lot of people there that are walking around.
Oh, it's happened to us. We had to be questioned by the police. We allowed to talk about that?
Yeah, but we didn't commit any crimes.
No.
They wanted information from us
No, but
for
we still
someone
had
we
questioning.
interviewed who had committed a crime.
Yeah.
But it's still.
I just thought it was important to say that part rather than just say the police questioned us and then leave it at that.
I found a bit annoyed that we had to be questioned separately.
Well, that would make sure we didn't just agree on stuff.
made me realise that my attention to detail of a day is like
Not
wildly
good?
inaccurate.
Oh,
yeah.
no, mine was so specific. I think
Yeah.
they got to the point where it was like, can you please wrap this up? You know what I mean? I was like, no, yeah. And then they said, I'm pretty sure I was word for word. And then I told them that I wanted to be a detective, and then I asked questions about how long I had to work on the police force for.
I
They said
know,
1 year
because I was
uniform.
being interviewed after
After
you,
you.
and I was 45 minutes late.
And then we spoke about what restaurant they should go to because they like going to different restaurants. And I suggested one. Then Maddie got annoyed because taxpayers' money and that was too expensive. I said, well, I've never been there.
I just wanted to go home. That's all I wanted.
You just did what you were talking about that day.
Yeah.
So, 131060, what's your question?
Have you ever been a suspect? Or
That's a lot. And it turns out, yes, I was. I did kill him.
no, but you didn't do it.
That's a
Right.
long bow. I'm happy for
Have
that.
you
But
ever
you're saying,
been a
do we have a
suspect?
listener that's ever been a suspect?
Suspect in a crime, but
Or you-
didn't actually do it. Because that happened all the time.
Why would it happen all the time?
Because they don't just go, oh, a crime's been committed, it must have been Tom. They have to cut down the suspects. Otherwise, we wouldn't have the fantastic board game Cluedo.
131060, phones are open. We'll get you on next here at B105. Stav, Abby and Matt.
Stav, Abby and Matt for breakfast. B105.
All right, so we threw it out there, 131060. Have you ever been a suspect in a crime but didn't do it? And I don't think we've ever seen this amount of calls.
Well,
Just
look, I'm surprised. I didn't think we'd get anyone, so I am totally
beating them
wrong.
away with sticks.
You are right, Stav. Well, let's see. Mandy in Ipswich, have you been wrongly accused?
Yes, I have been wrongly accused.
What happened, Mandy?
So it was a few years ago now. I woke up at 7 o'clock with like, 100 police, open up. And like they had a battering ram and everything.
Whoa.
I was like, yeah. Me and my sister were like, what the hell's going on? And they wouldn't tell us for a while. They came in with a search warrant and they were like searching around my house and they like got out clothes and my credit card details and everything. I was like, what's going on? And then they finally told me that I was a suspect for an armed robbery that happened on Stafford Road. And apparently, like, this girl had stolen all this cash and stuff. And then, yeah, they, like, found a little toy handgun under my house that we'd only just moved in. It was, like, broken and everything. And they're like, yeah, we've got her now.
Wow.
And, yeah, and then I ended up going to the police station, and it turns out that I knew the lady that got robbed. I bought my Christmas paper off her, and they put me in a lineup, and she was able to say that it wasn't me. The way they tracked me was I happened to be in the same area at the same time, and I bought a Gatorade on my credit card, and they tracked me down like that.
Wow.
And then I was like, guys, you're telling me I stole $5,000 in cash and then stopped to buy a refreshment with my credit card? I was like,
You had a big day.
Mandy, I was like, come on. I was like, I'm not that stupid.
Do they clean your house for you after they turn it upside down?
Nope.
Even if you're wrongly accused, you've still got to clean it yourself.
And I like didn't go. I was traumatized. I didn't go to work that day or anything. And
That's
they even
horrendous.
they took my mountain bike as well.
Did you get
I
it
got
back?
Yeah, I got it. But still, I was like, come on, guys.
Wow.
So, Mandy, you were in a lineup. Was that freaky?
Yeah, like it was just a photo. Like I didn't stand like in the videos, and I was like crying and everything. And the copper comes in and he's like, "Oh, do you want the good news or the bad news?" I was like, "Oh, you're not feeding me, are you?" And he's like, "No, your bad news is you look like shit, but the good news is you're free to go." I was like,
"Oh God!" And then no sort of compensation
Well, I
or
guess
just
the
an
police don't
apology.
have
No,
that,
just
you know?
asking, yeah.
No, they just said sorry. They found out because there's 100 police, and then they found out that I like used to go to Clayfield College, and they're like, "Oh, sorry." Like,
I reckon you got to have some sort of
But
recourse
who?
in that.
What? The police are going to go and tidy it up themselves? Like, who's going to go and do that?
Yeah, I reckon the cops should. They
Oh,
should have
sorry, we
cleaners.
didn't. We're not on the street fighting
Solving-
crime.
No,
We're
they
at
could pay
Mandy's
for
house
cleaners.
cleaning up.
I'd look into it, Mandy. That's all I'm saying.
Carly
Hey guys, we've just got a little bit of a request. Can we like ram the door just gently this time?
Well, if you're going to get it wrong, boys.
Plus, if they did come back and clean it, you have all these people calling the police and getting them to raid their house. And then
Oh, I
cleaning up.
would.
I would too.
Yeah. Hey, Carly in Ipswich, you wrongly accused? Hey.
Yes, I was living on the Gold Coast around about 20 odd years ago. I was only like 19. Had the door, police knocking at my door at 7 o'clock. Same thing to Mandy. Been accused of a crime.
Yeah.
Apparently, I'd gone to a hotel at Palm Beach and trashed it completely, thousands of dollars. Kept telling them, no, it wasn't me. Anyway, long story short, ended up down at the police station, mugshot taken.
Wow.
Fingerprints taken.
Wow.
Obviously, being 19, I was a bit frightened at that time.
Yeah.
It took quite a few months, I think, for them to finally tell me that it wasn't me, but all that time and...
Yeah. I mean,
Everything
it
was
wasn't you, but
frightening.
that doesn't necessarily
Yeah,
mean you'll get
no.
away with it. Yeah.
No, it doesn't matter how much I told them. They said no, but I later found out that someone that I'd gone to school with had somehow gotten my identity
Right.
and used, I think they got a license in my name.
Right.
Oh, that's freaky. And checked into the hotel. They did it.
There you go.
Cindy, hello.
Hello.
What happened to your brother?
Yeah, he was questioned over the Ivan Milat case.
Really?
As they thought they thought he might have been the murderer.
Yeah, so he drove a white van and he lived in Byron Bay.
That's enough.
So he got
Throw him in jail.
Yes, he got home from work one day. He lived in a caravan park at that stage, and the guy, in the caravan park next door said, the cops have been here. They've been all around your van and everything. And he was like, well, that's strange. So he went to, because it was Byron, 30 odd years ago or whatever. He just went down to the station and said, "Hey, are you looking for me?"
Yeah, fair enough.
And he was questioned over where he'd been and where he'd been with the van, and they came back another time to look at the van again.
Wow.
But it was sort of everyone who had a white van was a suspect.
Yeah, they were
And
really trying everything.
At the time of being questioned, did he know what the crime was, or they were just asking details and not giving that information?
No, didn't know. And I don't even know if it was out in the public arena at that point.
Yeah.
And do you think, just curious here, like if say they came to raid your house for the Ivan Milat case, right? But then they find other stuff not related to that case but illegal. Would they ignore that?
Yeah, they would ignore that.
They would ignore that?
Depends what it is.
Right.
No, I don't think they would.
It's Byron, right? 30 years ago.
Yeah.
A lot of things that you could find in a caravan, you know?
Yeah.
But no, I think, wouldn't they use that as a way to get you in easier?
Well, I guess it depends what the crime...
What they find.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm also assuming that Ivan Milat himself never rocked up to a police station and said, "Are you looking for me?"
Probably
so
right.
it probably went in his favour that he kind of rocked up and went,
Yeah.
hey, someone said you wanted to talk to me, so...
Yeah.
That's true. Are you thinking you need to change your hiding spot at home, Stav?
I'm just thinking for everyone, because everyone's got something that could get them into trouble.
not everyone has something.
Everyone.
No.
13, 10, 6.
No.
Stav, Abby and Matt for breakfast. B105. A viral collectible toy made famous by some of the world's biggest celebrities has sparked a frenzy at Melbourne shopping centres and stores around the world.
Labubu, the global phenomenon explained. The new toy created global hysteria this week.
Labubu, can someone explain it to me? If you have one of these, or maybe you've got a child who's desperate for one, you've lined up 13, 10, 60, because I don't get it. Like, I understand if celebrities get something, then you want it, because I'm guilty of going, oh, that dress.
That's salad.
I definitely, yeah, okay, all right, good point. But that's delicious. This is they call it like cute ugly,
Yeah.
and it's a doll. So an artist made this collection of it, right? Mm-hmm. And then celebrities bought this doll, and now everyone wants it. And it's a collectible, so is there a
Or did they get
series?
it, give it to them? Because remember, that's how Dr. Dre's Beats started.
Yeah.
Dr. Dre sent all these celebrities them, and then they started wearing them.
Maybe.
And then these $10 headphones were selling for like $300.
Don't get me wrong, I get it when a toy is popular, but this is like lining up like the new iPhone.
And as usual,
Oh,
your old pal Stav is well ahead of this curve because...
No, we know that you're always first onto the useless things.
That is
Correct,
so
Mundo.
true.
Because for Christmas, I just wandered into the Pop Mart at Indooroopilly. No lines. And
What's the Pop Mart?
That's where they sell the Labubus.
Why is it called Pop Mart?
Because it's a popular culture market.
And it's a good point. Why don't you get like ahead of the trend with like crypto or something useful?
My Labubu has already quadrupled
It's
in
not
price.
yours, it's Cat's,
It's
and you
mine
can't
now,
sell
I'm
it.
taking it
Yeah,
back.
okay.
What did you pay for your Labubu?
I paid for my Labubu $300.
300. But why does it say here that they're only...
That's the small one. I got the big one.
So hang on. When they were nothing,
You bought one for
you
300.
bought three. God, you've got more money than sense, my friend. $300 for a little.
It's already quadrupled in value, so who's
But only
got more
if you
money than
resell it,
sense?
and I reckon
I'm not
this
going to
is-
resell it.
But this is going to
Let
be
it
like
go
a
up.
collector's thing in 10 years' time.
Yeah,
No
I
one
know.
is going to remember the
It
Labubu.
comes back around. Always comes back around. You hold on to them.
Could you legitimately sell it for $1,200 today?
Last
No.
I looked, I could have sold it for $900.
No, but they're not buying it for 900, the people that are lining up.
No, but people are buying them online if they can't get them in stores after they line up and they're all gone.
So where did you buy the Pop? Where did you buy it at the Pop Mart?
The Pop Mart at Indooroopilly.
And is that the only one?
That's the only one in Brisbane.
Right. That's the only one selling Labubus.
Well, that's the only store, but then they do vending machines.
You can get a Labubu in a vending
You
machine?
can get a Labubu vending machine. Yeah.
So who was this artist? Was he really big before? Were they really
Brian.
big? No.
I love if his name's just
Kasing
like...
Lungs.
like just...
Kasing Lung is his name,
Jason.
apparently. Jason would be great. Jason's created this.
I don't know
Gary.
anything
So
about
they're
the
from-
artist
Okay.
because I didn't know anything about it when I bought it. I just saw a little cute little guy. He looks like one of the Where the Wild Things Are monsters. Kat loves that book, and it's funky and cool. And so I was blind, and then it blew up.
So it
Maybe it's
popped-
because I bought it.
Oh, come on. Did it pop up on your
Maybe.
Instagram? Is that where you got it from?
The first time I saw it was when I was in the shop looking for something to buy. It was my last little present. I was
So
like,
that's
"Oh,
the
good."
artist.
Yeah.
Right.
He seems hip and happening.
He looks like you.
See?
Oh, yeah.
You walk straight into that. Has anyone else got a Labubu?
You'd have to think the way they were lining up. Oh,
you
there's
know
a
what's
Pop Mart account.
annoying?
Yeah.
Is when your kids find these things and then they harass you to buy it.
But you were the same as kids, so there'd be a toy that you really wanted.
Of course there was, but the difference was it was $40, not $300.
And also, I will point
Baby
out that
alive, that's what I wanted. Remember when you
alive.
fed the baby and
And it
poo
pooped.
came out the back?
Yeah.
Baby born?
No, baby alive.
Baby
you had to keep it alive.
These aren't for. It's more adults buying them, mind you, too. It's not the kids.
So there is collectors.
Right.
People are saying that there's Labubu Mario Red version, and that one is selling online on eBay for $7,000. But then you remember, people always say that they're worth it. Remember when you go and get stuff from Woolies and they're like, oh, that's a rare one. So my kids were like, put it on eBay. And I was like, it's not. I put it up. And they're like, why has no one bought it? It's worth this much. I'm
This
like,
is like when Prime came out and my son would
exactly.
buy one bottle of Prime for $15 because it wasn't in Australia yet. So this drink, which tasted like ass crack, and he would spend $15 on it.
Do you know my friend has got in trouble? My friend's son has got in trouble because he's been selling wafers. You know, you got those wafer biscuits?
Yeah.
And he's been selling 2 wafers for $3. So people
Why?
at school, and it's like, because it's a rare one that's been sent over from his nonna from Italy, right?
Oh, biscotti.
Here's the thing, she's been getting them like the home brand, and he's been putting them in little satchels.
He's a businessman.
Yeah, but the school's not happy, and then selling them for $3.
Oh.
Why not? They should be like, we taught him that in our economics class.
Exactly.
We're geniuses.
And he's not giving them the cut.
No.
All the other
that's
parents
what
are
it
just
is.
getting so annoyed. They're like, why do you need $3? And they're like, yeah, they're so good. They're so good. Apparently they're like sent over and it's a grandma's recipe and they're literally homebred.
They heard of Kit Kats?
Well, we used to get them the Mr. Whippy van. You get your ice cream with a wafer and I used to pull it out and throw it away.
Yeah.
13 10 60, have you got a Labubu? That's what we want to know.
Explain it to us.
Do
We're
you Labubu?
open-minded.
Yes. 13 10 60, we'll get you on next B105.
Stav, Abby and Matt for breakfast. B105. A viral collectible toy made famous by some of the world's biggest celebrities has sparked a frenzy at Melbourne shopping centres and stores around the world.
Labubu, the global phenomenon explained. The new toy created global hysteria this week.
Look, I'm not sure if it's offensive to call it a toy.
Figurine.
Labubu, well, they're saying collector's item, really. A creature, but we just don't know what the craze is. So they have been around since 2015, is that right? And now they've just taken off. Well, I don't know. You're the expert. You've bought one
I bought one.
for $300.
Who are the celebrities? Are the big name celebrities? they're
Rihanna
talking
was
about?
seen carrying one.
Dua Lipa.
The girls from Blackpink.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Oh, they're the K-pop, Korean pop band,
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So
We
we
want
want
to
to know.
explain it.
Do
yeah.
you Labubu? 13 10 60. Sander. Do you Labubu?
Yes, I Labubu, 100%.
How many do you
Obsessed.
have?
Well, okay, so I've only got my hands on one because I'm not one to line up for these things, but I used to think they were the ugliest things on the planet. I was like, there's some sort of like devil worship in these things. They look so creepy. But then I got one and I opened that box and the gamble of like not knowing what you're going to get and then like opening it and finding it's just...
So you don't know which one you're
You
buying?
can buy a mystery
No,
box
like that's the
Labubu.
best part.
Yeah, that would get me because I used to love a lucky dip. I mean, that explains it. And that's the same as the other toys your daughter
My
would have been
daughter's
into.
The LOL dolls.
Yes, you never know what you're going to get, and that's the thing. And then they buy it and they go, I don't like that one, get another one.
I would argue with her all the time. I'm like, let's not buy that. That's like $28 and you don't know what's going to be in it.
Yeah, but I'd get sucked in. Like, that makes me like it more.
Yeah, that's the best part of it.
Yeah.
And I believe you've got another one?
Yeah, so I've started collecting the Crybaby figurines from Pop Mart as well.
Okay.
I just think they're so freaking cute.
I like the bears.
Which ones are those?
You know, the big standing bears? They look like gummy bear figurines. They're
Oh, yeah, cute. Yeah, they've got so many cute figurines. They're coming out with, there's another store called Miniso, which has got, like, the same concept going, and they're coming out with new Stitch figurines, and I'm, like, a Lilo and Stitch girl, so yeah,
See-
there's...
Have you collected things before? Like, this is not your first fall in love.
Beanie Babies. I bet you had Beanie Babies.
Probably, but I think, for me, Bratz dolls were, like, my thing when I was when I was young. And it was like everyone that came out, I needed her. So
Does it come with a certificate?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm a sucker for a certificate. They used to always come with that because you know how it's a unique number. And
You've
then...
already bought one mentally. I can hear it.
No,
in your
I
voice.
won't. But I do. Like, that's what I used to get obsessed with when you used to buy, like, the teddy bears. I think even Care Bears came with a certificate.
Cabbage Patch Kids.
They were like little ones. Sylvania
Waters? No, that's the TV
show. But
I know the
Sylvania
one you
little
mean.
teddy bears,
Yeah.
and they used to come with a certificate.
Families.
Sylvania families.
Sylvania
Yeah, I
families.
did collect those.
April,
Yes.
do you Labubu?
Actually, it's my daughter. So I went overseas last year to take her for the first time in the Philippines.
Yeah.
And so we were like going to the mall to just look for stitches and other things that's popular in Australia, and there was none. Everything was Labubu. So she went to grab some. Yeah, they do come in the box, in a different box. So we have to like buy a few because she wanted the brown one.
Yeah, see, that's how you get more, don't you? Yeah.
What did you pay?
It was, for the small one, around $30.
So
That's she
And
bought it
for-
overseas.
Yeah, overseas.
right, is that good stuff? Would that be? Let's say if you cross over the Australian border and it quadruples.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a market.
Has she bought anyone ever since, or it was just overseas then?
It was overseas, and I bought some also for my niece and stuff because it was for her present for her cousin and that. So I didn't even know what it was, or would I look at her and I said, "Oh, that's so ugly. What do you want to get that for?"
You could resell them now.
Yeah, pay off your house by the sounds of it. Hello, Danielle.
Hello.
Hi.
Do you Labubu?
No way. Hell no. They're so dumb.
Well, they're just they're a toy. $300. Are they stuffed?
Well, a funny story. I actually broke up with my boyfriend because he bought a Labubu
For how much?
for like $400, nearly $500.
So wait a minute,
It's
he-
like those like bigger.
Are you
Yeah,
saying
I-
everything was going well before then, and then he bought that, and you're like, oh,
Oh no! Well, I think that was like my last. straw.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
A little excuse to Yeah.
So what has he done
Get
with
out.
it? Just
I don't know. He just likes it. He because we were going through Indrapilli, the shopping center, and there are a few people like lining up. He's like, "Oh, we need to check it out." I was like, "What is that?" Like, I've never seen the most hideous toy in my life. And then we went in, and he's like, "I want this one." I was like, "No, are you serious? It's $500. We're not spending like money on that."
How old was he
And
when
sure
he bought
enough,
it?
28.
Right, and were you living together?
No.
Okay.
no. But that's, I mean, I'm with you. That's, I mean, what sort of, yeah.
It's dumb. Like that could have gone towards our, holiday or something.
Yeah,
So-
you dodged, a bullet. You dodged a bullet there, Danielle.
Oh, definitely. I sure did.
Hope he's happy
Yeah,
with
that
his
was my last drive for
Labubu.
them.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
if your partner likes Labubu, you have to break up with them.
No, I never said that. But imagine that on a dating website for Danielle now. Must not like Labubu.
Labubus.
Didn't you say Kat loves her Labubu?
Yeah, I'm just saying that's what Abby just said. The
No,
population.
I just think for $500 when she said, no, please don't buy it. And he's like, nah, that's it.
And now it's worth $700. So who's laughing now, Daniel?
Stav, Abby, and Matt for breakfast. B105.
TV. It's in a bit of a weird spot at the moment, isn't it? It's everyone's streaming. The free-to-airs are doing anything they can to grab an audience. And I remember the heady days where TV did go a little bit bonkers for a bit there. You had shows like Jackass, where people put their bodies on the line for our entertainment. And there's something about Miriam. Do you remember that one?
Yeah.
Where it was a dating show and she was actually a man. And I thought those days...
Which sadly, I think she
ended
committed
tragically.
suicide.
Yeah, I don't think due to the show, but her life was always a bit complicated.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, if the things you read, they said that a lot of that sort of contributed to where her mental health went. It was probably not the best way to be dealing with those issues.
No. Well, here comes another one that a younger me back in my 20s could have applied for if I chose to. Don't know if I would have.
Oh, virgins. No, sorry, joking, not funny.
Yes, Matthew, Virgins. It's called Virgin Island.
It really is. Whoops, sorry about that. It was a joke.
It follows 12...
I love a good documentary.
40-year-old virgin? It's a true story.
Never been kissed? I thought that was a movie. No, story of someone's life.
Anyway, tell us more about how you could have applied for the show.
My therapist has been listening to this show. And
Yeah, right. I know the core of your problem.
Yeah, she texts us things to keep her house repayments coming.
Get him to talk about this show on the station. It'll really do some damage.
I'm going to the Bahamas for Christmas.
Yeah.
Can you bring this up?
Can you hack at that scab, please? Hack at it. Hack at it. Have a listen to the trailer.
12 virgins are on a journey of self-discovery.
Being a young adult in this day and age, it's difficult.
People see it as a joke.
I don't know if I'm going to be doing it right. It's just awkward.
With expert help, they'll meet temptation, chase connection, and experience intimacy.
I'm like a different virgin now. I'm closer to losing it. Woohoo!
Yeah.
That is traumatic. That's exactly the same as embarrassing bodies. Like, I've got something so embarrassing I can't share with the GP, but I'm going to share with the world.
And you know what I find strange about it? Exactly that, because it's this. Britain has that thing of stiff upper lip. We don't talk about things. Oh la la la. We sleep in. Your mum and dad sleep in separate beds. We sometimes push them together for special occasions. And then after 9:30 at night on TV, it just goes full core porn.
Yeah, because you always have to be worried about the quiet ones. So this is exactly their little fantasy.
The entire country of
the
quiet
entire
ones.
country is like,
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Say no more.
So is it like Married at First Sight? They get a bunch of virgins together and then they try and get them to do the wild thing.
With each other, or they get other people in?
With each other, I believe.
Oh.
Yeah. So they're both. Yeah. Which is, you want someone steering.
How do they can't actually film?
Yeah, they're filming it.
The actual...
Yeah. It's the UK, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be like Big Brother, the dancing doona on Big Brother. They'd be underneath there. And
Yeah, but
it's
I
a
don't
short
think-
film.
I don't want to watch it. I just wouldn't be.
I mean, the V1's already enough pressure, but to have a camera guy and a boom operator there.
Yeah. And how old are these people?
In their 20s. So, older, no one obviously younger than 18.
Yeah.
But from anywhere from 20 to, I think the oldest is like in the 30s. So.
Right.
No word on if it's going to be available here yet, or if we'll do an Australian version. If they do, I'd like to put my hand up to be the host. I know what you're going through. Finally a show I can be an expert on. My time to shine.
Right.
Yeah. Technically, I wouldn't be a virgin because it would be my second TV show.
And then what are you going to do, though? Your parents are going to be able to watch it as well? Like, that's a weird thing. Like, oh, we're so proud of him. We're so proud of her.
Yeah.
To be fair, they'll just be happy for them to be out of the house.
That's true.
Their parents probably signed them up.
Yeah.
But is there any 20-year-old virgins?
Well, there still are. I mean, I've got a range of different ages for my friends, A lot of them were quite picky. A lot of them are quite not. We've got that huge range of it.
Yeah.
Like, I remember going on a holiday. We went over to Bali when we were 18, and one of my friends, that was her sole goal. And we're like, can we not go into every nightclub with that motto?
That's what Stav and I did from 18 plus.
Oh, okay.
Why else would you go there?
Yeah, but I just didn't want her to put the pressure on her.
Isn't that what they're for?
That's what they're for.
Yeah, but I was sharing a room with her. So each night, I was like, where am I staying?
Well,
each night.
Well,
how many times did she lose it?
No, she just... I'm saying she wanted to.
Hey, guys, lost it again. I've lost it again.
I've never done this before. It seems like you have.
Stav, Abby and Matt for breakfast. B105.
Your daughter has started high school this year.
Yes.
She's got a computer?
Yes.
You know how they do all their learning online now?
Yes.
This is an interesting one because Sweden, who are always forward-thinking, they've actually decided they're going to roll back and they're going to go back the traditional way, talking about pens and paper. So people are going to be submitted books rather than computers. And it's interesting because it's like they were very forward with the technology. Let's embrace it, let's use it. It's really important for our learning. And now they're going the opposite way because they've done a lot of reports and gone, oh, wait a minute.
Kids are getting dumber.
Kids are getting dumber. This is not actually working. So they're saying it's shallow learning. And now they're saying we're not anti-technology, but we support cognitive learning. You're the person that always said, I'm always, I don't have to do that. And your teacher went, you're not always going to have a calculator in your pocket.
Gotcha, Mrs. Edwards. Gotcha.
But does that make it smarter for you if you're always looking at your calculator as opposed to learning it? Because they do say that if you're always looking things up in your GPS as opposed to learning how to get there,
correct,
you're not working your brain.
Yeah, but that's the world we live in. We've got Chat GPT now, like AI will do do anything that you want.
So then we don't need to even learn handwriting anymore? Because people are saying that handwriting
Well, I
can
think you
build up
still
that
have to do it.
coordination.
But, you know, I think we're going to go old school learning. I still think the way we teach children in schools should have been changed completely years ago. We've been doing it for the same for forever.
It's too destructive, I think, being on the computer. Because if you're facing the teacher and the computer's up there, it's very easy to go on games.
Yeah.
I know. I checked my son's computer.
But we used to just pass notes then in school. So they just give them a
but
pen and
we
paper.
Stare out the window.
But we hand wrote them, and when a teacher used
Will
to
you go
get
out
them,
with me? Tick yes, tick no.
teacher used to get them, and they used to open them up, and they used to berate me for my
Did they,
spelling.
The old read them to the class?
Yeah.
Did they go?
I had to get up in the class. Do you know honestly what I had to write? So my friend and I went and got our ears pierced together, Deanna, and we got like pus in it, which is really gross.
Yeah.
So we used to call each other pus sisters. And I'm not very good at spelling. So I used to call her Pussy and she used to call me Pussy. So when I was writing a note to her, I had to get up and, say, hey, Pussy. And explain it.
Hey,
and she's
Pussy
like,
sister.
what have you done wrong here? And I was like, no, that's probably not spelt right, is it? Yeah.
So you couldn't do that these days
No.
because that would hurt the kids' feeling too much and then, you'd be in trouble.
Being a pussy sister?
No, right, making them read out the note.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
You know
oh
what
God,
I mean?
that was always embarrassing, isn't it? When you're like, please don't read that out, please don't read that
Yeah.
out. The guy that we've just spoken about that we've got a crush is in the room.
100%.
It's like accidentally sending the text message to him these days.
Maybe it is. I don't know. I guess they're not anti it. They're just saying that they have worked out that they should only have a certain amount of computers a day, and people are already getting that at home or on their devices, so they don't need to do it in schooling.
They're always ahead of the curve, so we'll probably be doing this in a couple of
Well,
years'
I
time.
think Madrid has started doing it as well.
There you go. Slowly
fair.
trickles down.
We say they're ahead of the curve, but they have not figured out how to make furniture without Allen keys yet. They're
Maybe
still,
they have.
They're still doing that the same bloody way, which is the most annoying way to put it together. So
Not if-
I am
not if
not
you get a drill bit.
I'm
You're not gonna
not
listen to
giving
them?
them the
Yeah, but they've
credit
got
that you
style.
keep giving these damn Swedish people.
Really? What about the meatballs?
Yeah, the meatballs are pretty good.
Meatballs
And they
are
do
good.
have wonderful style.
And the hot dogs?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Why
you're
would you not
wrong.
follow them?
Stav, Abby, and Matt.
Alpha Bucks tomorrow, May the 14th. It is Alpha Bucks for 50 grand at 6, 7 and 8. Here's some answers.
6 a.m. your letter is G. Some of your answers are garage, gut, and gutters. 7 a.m. it's I. Some of your answers are indigo, icy pole, and Independence Day. And 8 it's T. And some of your answers are tent, tiger, TikTok.
All right.
Bye, guys.
Stav, Abby, and Matt for breakfast. B105. Stav, Abby, and Matt are off to grab a bargain, and you can too with Chemist Warehouse. Stock up and save now with the Chemist Warehouse half price cosmetic sale.